April the 16th, 2018, they called me doctor. Boy, was that, to me, felt like the biggest mistake of my life. But was it really? I didn't know what I was going to do with the doctor title. I earned it. I deserved it. I worked for it. It was mine. And I didn't know what I was going to do next. You see, from kindergarten to my doctoral program to completion, I had a plan. I went to school. And that's it. I worked and went to school. That's all I knew. I opened side businesses and I went to school. I worked and went to school. And after that day, I walked out of the school knowing that my journey was over. My educational journey was complete. And I asked myself, now what? That's the question that I have been facing since August the 16th, 2018. Now what? Do I stay in corporate America? Or do I move into another industry? What do I do? And I couldn't figure that out for the life of me. I was ashamed to call myself doctor because I was under so much stress, so much feelings of rejection, so much denial. I couldn't understand what I had done. And I looked at that degree, and I looked at that degree, and I looked at my name on my diploma, and I did not identify as a doctor until 2020. Crazy, right? That's how life works sometimes. And like many things in life, you have to have a plan. You have to figure it out. And it took me a minute to figure it out. What did I do? Well, I went into education. I became an adjunct professor, and I loved it. I love every second of it. I love interacting with students. I love teaching classes. I love grading papers. I love reading papers. I love reading what students have to say. I love getting their emails, their comments, their disgruntled dissatisfaction. I love it all. Every single second of it. Because I remember what my academic journey was like. I may not remember everything from K through 12, but I remember college, undergrad, grad school, and postgrad. Postgrad being the most recent. And out of all of those journeys in my life, all of that educational trail that I went on, I met some really great friends that became family members that are still in my life to this day. I've worked with them in corporate America. I showed up at their dissertation defenses and I celebrated with them. But I did not celebrate myself. I was more happy for their graduations and their completions than I was on my own. I had a friend of mine ask me one time, why don't you want to call yourself doctor? And I said, I don't know. I didn't feel like it. And I know that may sound weird. I was living in my imposter syndrome. I was living in my denial phase because I could not believe that I wrote a book. Essentially, I wrote a dissertation. I was completely shocked and devastated. And because of that, and because many years of thinking about what am I going to do with my life, now what, doctor, now what, is literally what I thought. I know that there are some other doctors out there just like me, wondering, now what? You have an expertise, you have a discipline, you just don't know what to do with it. And you're looking like, what do I do? Do I stay in corporate America? Do I stay in education? Do I open a business? Well, I'm here to say I have done all of those. And I felt like it was time for me to share my story for other people with PhDs, DBAs, EDDs, psych degrees, any degree that required you to write a dissertation, any degree that required you to do a capstone to complete your degree. I'm talking to you because I was that person. So because of my journey, I started PhD Empowered. And with PhD Empowered, I started that because I knew that there was some other people that are looking at their degrees, looking at their diploma, and their life is still the same because when they completed their degree, they didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan when I completed my degree. You see, when I completed kindergarten, natural step was to go to the 6th grade, junior high. After I completed 8th grade, natural step was to go to high school. After I completed high school, the natural step was to go to college. I completed college. Natural step was to complete my MBA. I completed my MBA. Natural step was to complete my PhD. And I did all of that. Then I completed my PhD and I was like, now what? And I literally asked myself, now what? I did not know what to do. I looked at myself, looked at my diploma. My friends, family was so excited for me. They say, oh, this is my friend. She's got her doctorate degree. This is my friend that's got their doctorate degree. And I just kept thinking about my friend that asked me, Toya, what do you want to do with your degree? I did not know. So for the past 5 years, I have been working on what to do with my degree. And this is my final step, setting up my YouTube channel and talking to people that were just like me with getting their degree. I hope that if you are in that journey of Dr. Now What, you take the time to come back every week, follow me, take a look around, listen to my journey of building my business, listen to my journey of becoming a coach, listening to my journey of adjuncting, to realize that you are not alone, that there are more people out there with a PhD than you know, that are out there just like I was, just like you are, looking at the degree, asking yourself, Doctor, now what?